In this video, I'm going to break down my entire clothing drop strategy that has allowed me to do $100,000 in revenue in a single month, ship thousands of products, and create content that can be used in advertising campaigns at an 8x return on ad spend. I'll explain what to prepare for a successful launch step by step, including developing a collection theme or story, designing a cohesive collection, picking a manufacturer. I'll give you the links to the manufacturers that I've used in the past for both US and Chinese manufacturing, sampling, placing a bulk order, negotiating minimum order quantities, quality control, which includes a QC checklist you can follow yourself, a full breakdown of logistics and shipping, including reliable 3PL partners I use. I don't have to ship products myself anymore, content, and production timelines, where I'll break down an entire timeline from sampling to launching, complete with screenshots of conversations between me and manufacturers so you could see hands-on what the process is like to get garments made, how much it costs to sample, how much bulk orders cost, and more. Everything in this video is from my experience of running a brand for the last 5 years. I've also worked for 3 different marketing agencies over the last decade. And I make YouTube videos now documenting my process, so I get 1% better every day at being a creative director and brand owner. This video was inspired by Josh Dankers, who commented on one of my other videos. Shout out Josh, I really appreciate your support. Thanks for leaving your feedback. I hope you really enjoy this video. Now, before I get into all of the specifics, I want to mention that this is a ton of free game, and I'm being really transparent with the highs and lows of my experiences as a brand owner. So I'd really appreciate if you smash the like and subscribe button because it helps me get the word out. Okay, so step 1 in creating a successful and lucrative product launch is developing a theme or story for the collection. The story and theme of the brand will attract people that are similar. When I made anime streetwear, only anime fans were interested because the social media algorithms only showed my brand to fans of anime. So these are 2 influencers that actually found my brand organically through the algorithm and then reached out to me because they felt like the clothes I made aligned with their aesthetic and the aesthetic that their fans and followers enjoyed. When I started collaborating with rappers in Los Angeles, only fans of underground rap found my page. There's Kill Cody in the Pathos corduroy puffer jacket, and Chris King wearing my clothes and performing at Rolling Loud. RIP Kill Cody and Chris King for real, man. Basically, people understand and resonate towards what is familiar looking to them. If you're starting out and your brand doesn't really have a story yet, focus on a theme or an aesthetic. The next step is to design a cohesive collection. Your pieces should work together visually and conceptually. Ensure consistency in fabric choices, color palettes, and design elements. These are photos from 2 different drops that I did. The typography, colors, sizing, and layout is extremely consistent. Same for this drop, which was focused more on streetwear basics. The color palette is consistent, the garments are consistent, the photos are sized properly, and the grid is very pleasing to the eye. I highly suggest following Fashionary's guidelines for ensuring a balance between 4 types of items. If you haven't read the Fashionary Fashion Business Manual, I'll leave a link in the description. These are the 4 types of items: core items, transaction builders, profit generators, and wow items. The core items are your brand's signature pieces that define your collection and will likely be staple sellers. These are 2 of my core items. I have an oversized logo hoodie and cargo pants. Both of these products can be worn year-round. Transaction builders are affordable pieces that encourage impulse buying and increase the average transaction size. 2 of my transaction builders that I've sold in the past are graphic t-shirts and hats. Graphic tees drive sales volume and are often bought in multiples. Hats are low cost, branded, and they attract impulse buyers, which is a great entry point for customers that are less familiar with the brand. Selling hats like this is a great way to obtain first-time buyers. Profit generators are high-margin items that may have a higher price point but are still attractive to the target audience. This is one of the profit generators I released for my brand. The suede bomber sold for $400. This jacket is made from premium materials, such as genuine leather, and the inside is lined with a silk viscose blend. This offers exclusivity at a higher price point with relatively low production costs, hence profit generators. Not just revenue generators, but profit generators. I also did a leather shoulder bag with the old Pathos word mark and the Pathos emblem, both embroidered on the bag. Accessories like bags have extremely high profit margins and are great for year-round sales. Typically, luxury brands make the most amount of money from their accessories and leather goods like bags. Wow items are attention-grabbing statement pieces designed to create buzz and bring excitement to the collection. Here are 2 wow items I released in the past. First is the cream puffer jacket. It's bold, it's oversized, it has an exaggerated silhouette. And the second is this moissanite tennis bracelet, which as you can see here in this video, passes a diamond tester. This built a lot of hype. Because it's moissanite, it was relatively inexpensive to produce, but I could sell it for hundreds of dollars. Here's a pro tip. A successful collection balances all 4 item types, ensuring consistent sales, higher profit margins, and hype-driven marketing. After you design a cohesive collection, you need to pick a manufacturer to make the collection for you. You really have 2 options, local manufacturers and international manufacturers. Most of my audience is in the US, so I'm going to use the US as my reference for local manufacturers. The pros of using a local manufacturer are shorter lead times, more control over quality, and easier communication due to similar time zones and language. You can also visit the factory to monitor production firsthand. For example, if you live in LA like me and use an LA-based manufacturer, you can easily go to the factory. On the downside, there are typically higher production costs, which can affect your pricing or profit margins. As I transition from Chinese manufacturing to American manufacturing, I'm going to raise my prices of the garments because it's way more expensive to produce garments in the US than in China. This is not so much of a con for me because I've been wanting to raise my prices and build more of an exclusive brand anyway. But for brands that are just starting out, it's usually not feasible to start with a US-based manufacturer, or you then will have to charge a lot of money for your product when you don't really have any following or any fans. So in that situation, I recommend people use an international manufacturer, which will lower costs, especially for bulk production, and you'll get access to a wider range of materials and expertise. On the downside, there are longer lead times due to shipping overseas, potential communication issues, and higher minimum order quantities. So in the US, I was able to order a 50 MOQ bulk order the first time working with a factory. But when I worked with Chinese manufacturers, I had to start with 100 minimum order quantity. After I gained their trust, I was able to get that cut down to a 50 minimum order quantity, which I have screenshots for, and I'll show you later in this video. For US-based manufacturing, I use Molengo. Go to molengo.com, get in touch with them, tell them Chris Drago sent you. And for all Chinese-based manufacturing, I used Artisan Apparel Co. They're based in Dongguan, China, and the rep I talked to is named Duke. You'll see several screenshots of conversations between me and Duke throughout the rest of this video. Their link is yadison.en.alibaba.com. I'll put both links for Molengo and Artisan Apparel Co. in the description. So once you got in touch with the manufacturer and you have your designs done, next is sampling. When you order samples from a manufacturer, you always want to conduct thorough quality control yourself by inspecting samples before moving to mass production. Check the stitching, seams, and overall construction. Look for inconsistencies and loose threads. Verify the measurements and fit. Make sure that the sample matches your original design specs, including garment size, fit, and proportions. Make sure all the logos, tags, and embroidery or any design-specific elements are properly applied to match the original design vision. Check the materials, evaluate the fabric's weight, texture, and durability. Wear the sample in various real-world scenarios, and get other people to wear the samples as well, to assess how the sample holds up under different conditions like movement, heat, and washing. Which leads me to wash and care tests. Wash the product as you would expect customers to do and observe if there is any fading, shrinkage, or fabric distortion. This is critical to avoid customer complaints about product durability after purchase, which has happened to me before when I released a product that shrunk too much in the wash, which actually wasn't really the end of the world, but I didn't tell the customer how they needed to take care of the garment beforehand on the product pages and in emails. So they ended up washing it regularly, and then their product shrunk, and then they got upset and they sent me an email, and then that was a customer support thing that I had to deal with. So make sure that you do your wash and care test first, and then if you notice anything like shrinking or fading, make sure the customer is aware of that before you sell it to them. I always have my manufacturer send me photos and videos. As you can see here, this is one of my t-shirts being screen printed. It's a pretty big box. Then I reach in, you can see me grab the samples. They're vacuum sealed in plastic. Share the sample with people whose opinions you trust, including fashion industry peers, friends, close customers, etc., because their feedback may highlight issues that you hadn't noticed. Here's a conversation with Duke, the manufacturer. I want to make some adjustments on the cargo pants we've been working on. I had 10 plus people try on all the cargo pant samples we made. I included the first samples before I made adjustments to the taper. So far, these are the notes. Everyone prefers the dimension/cut of the first sample. Everyone wanted different drawstrings at the waist. Most people preferred the light gray color and material of the second sample. I got feedback from my friends and peers, And I realized that after making 2 samples of these cargo pants, I needed to take some aspects of the first sample and some aspects of the second sample, put them together, and then remove everything else. Here's a specific situation where the sample had a defect. When I received the sample in the mail, I took a photo and I said everything about the sample is great except the season 1 design is upside down on this windbreaker. Duke said, sorry, I didn't check it properly. I just want to make sure that when I order bulk, this doesn't happen. Because it actually happened with 2 of the samples, which ended up being no problem, and it never happened again. Here's a screenshot the manufacturer sent me after creating a sample with an old tag, but I liked this tag better. Luckily, Duke kept both tags on file, so all I had to say was, I want to put this one in for the bulk order, and he was able to swap them out. Before I move on to discussing the bulk order, I want to drive this point home. Delivering a poor quality product risks more than losing a single customer. It can damage your brand's reputation, leading to long-term problems. Customers who receive subpar items are likely to share their negative experiences, discouraging potential buyers in the future. The effort spent acquiring that customer is lost, and the short-term revenue from the sale is outweighed by the long-term damage to trust. All right, next is the bulk order. So now your samples are done and you're ready to put them into production. First, you're going to want to negotiate a minimum order quantity, or MOQ. Manufacturers often require you to order a certain number of units to begin production. For example, if you're working with a Chinese manufacturer, they might say, in order to place a bulk order for these shirts or hoodies, you have to make 100 hoodies, or you have to make 200 hoodies. If the MOQ is higher than what you need, try negotiating a lower quantity by offering to pay a slightly higher price. Building a long-term relationship with the manufacturer will lower the price as well. So when I first started working with Duke, I asked about his MOQ. Usually the MOQ at Duke's factory is 200 pieces for each design and color. So if I wanted a t-shirt with 3 colors, I would have to make 600 shirts, which when I was just starting out was tough for me. He mentioned he could apply to reduce the MOQ from 200 to 100 pieces, and then I placed a bulk order, as you can see here. These screenshots are from the very beginning of my relationship with this manufacturer. When you're ordering sizes, use historical sales data to determine which sizes are in highest demand. If this is your first launch and you don't have past data, you can use industry standards as a guide. A common breakdown is 10% small, 40% medium, 40% large, and 10% extra large. So if this was 100 shirts, it would be 10 small, 40 medium, 40 large, and 10 extra large. After I placed a couple bulk orders with Duke, that really changed our relationship. In this conversation, I let Duke know that I received the most recent bulk order and mentioned that I'd like to order more colors, but I didn't have much space to hold the inventory. Then I asked if it was possible to order 50 pieces per color for 2 colors and adjust the price. He applied to the boss, in which the boss agreed to make 50 pieces of each color for me, and the price of 50 pieces for each of the 2 colors ended up being 12.9 USD, or around $13 US per shirt. 50 pieces times $13 comes out to about $645 for the whole bulk order. Once things are moving and you're placing bulk orders and restocking, order sizes and variations based on your past data. Here's a real-world example. After I placed a couple bulk orders for shirts, my customers gave me feedback that they preferred the blue color t-shirt over the black and cream colored t-shirts, even though the fabric of this t-shirt was a little thinner than the other colors. So I said my customers said they preferred the color of the 270 GSM shirt even though it is a little less thick. I'd like to order 50 black 280 GSM and 50 light blue 270 GSM. So here I placed a bulk order of 100 shirts, 2 colors, 2 different fabric weights. I recommend starting with just 1 or 2 main colors for pieces like t-shirts and hoodies, and then test new colorways in smaller quantities over time. After you place a bulk order, the next step is the quality control phase. Not to be confused with what I was saying earlier about doing quality control for samples. This is quality control for the entire bulk order. Typically, quality control or QC is done by the factory or a third-party company, in which case they'll run through a checklist that looks very similar to this. They'll check for the fabric, material, and quality to make sure that the material matches the approved sample, there are no visible defects, the fabric feels as per specification, and the color matches the design. Seams are even and strong, no loose threads or untrimmed fabric edges, stitching pattern matches design, zippers, buttons, or snaps are securely attached and functional. The measurements match the size specifications from tech packs. The sizes are consistent across different items. The fit tests match the intended design, like slim or oversized. The logos are correctly placed and aligned. The tags are present and legible. The brand name or logo is accurate and free of defects. The care label instructions are correct. Each item is folded neatly and packaged per specifications. There are correct barcodes and product labels on packaging. The packaging is free from damage or defects. The garments look clean and free of stains or marks. And the presentation aligns with the brand's quality standards. If all of these things are checked yes, then quality control is done. Here's a real-world example and a screenshot of a conversation between me and the manufacturer. When I placed the bulk order, I put down a deposit, which was 0.5 times or 50% of the total bulk order cost, which in this case was $595 USD. The final quantity that passed the quality inspection was 88 pieces. Only 88 of these pieces passed quality inspection and got a yes from everything on this checklist. So the manufacturer deducted the cost of those 12 pieces that were defective from what I ended up having to pay, which was very nice of the manufacturer, and I really appreciated that. But I'm glad that I decided to make a bulk order before doing any sales, because imagine if I did a pre-order and I sold 100 shirts and then 12 of them were defective. I would have had to refund 12 customers, which is a huge pain in the ass. After quality control is done, I focus on the logistics and the shipping. In the past, I did all of the packaging and shipping myself. As you can see here in this video, I'm weighing the product, printing all of the shipping labels, and putting the garments into the poly mailers ready for the post office. However, now I outsource all of the shipping and logistics to a 3PL or a third-party logistics provider. There are 2 third-party logistics providers that I recommend, and those are Pietra and ShipBob. I'll leave links to Pietra and ShipBob in the description. A 3PL will handle all of your shipping for you. They'll keep all your products in a warehouse, they'll print the shipping labels, and they typically offer shipping turnaround times of like 2 days, which is perfect if you're trying to compete with Amazon and TikTok Shop and get products to your customers in the same week. When you're setting up the shipping costs, you want to balance the cost with speed. Customers may be willing to pay extra for fast shipping. Therefore, offer expedited shipping options as part of your e-commerce setup. Standard shipping should still be an option, but consider incentivizing faster shipping through better packaging, exclusive tracking, or VIP delivery features to maintain a premium feel. In my case, I do free 2-day shipping because I find that works best for my target demographic. I'm willing to price my products a little bit higher and offer free 2-day shipping because my consumer is okay with paying a premium and getting their product right away. Make sure to negotiate service level agreements or SLAs if you want to do something like 2-day shipping. With Pietra and ShipBob, you can set the benchmarks for both domestic and international deliveries. Here are some domestic delivery benchmarks that you can discuss. Same-day dispatch, where orders placed before 3 p.m. are dispatched the same day. Standard shipping, where products are delivered within 3 to 5 business days. Expedited shipping, where you can offer 1 to 2 day express shipping options for customers who need faster delivery. The 3PL should be able to provide real-time tracking, which provides customers with live tracking information once their order is dispatched. I provide real-time tracking on my website. For international deliveries, these are some benchmarks that I suggest using. The 3PL should be able to dispatch within 48 hours, offer standard international shipping, which delivers products within 7 to 10 business days, express international shipping, which delivers products within 3 to 5 days, and customs and duties assistance. Once you have logistics and shipping figured out, whether you're shipping products yourself or outsourcing to a 3PL, then you need to shoot content for your products. I'm not going to go too deep into content in this video because I recently made a couple videos about content where I broke down my own brand's content, as well as about 300 pieces of content for other brands, but I will touch on it here. There are 4 main pillars of content that I think every brand will need to shoot in order to have success. E-commerce content with a focus on selling products, editorial content with a focus on selling a vibe to be used as ads or for any sort of publication like a magazine. Lifestyle content, which sells the lifestyle and showcases models wearing the clothes in situations that the target customer would experience on the daily. And founder content that sells the vision by connecting the founder with the audience to build brand trust and recognition. Here is a production timeline for a hypothetical streetwear collection. Typically, the first phase is the sampling phase, which takes about 4 weeks. Receive initial sketches and tech packs from the design team or creative director. In my case, I am the design team and the creative director. So I make all of these tech packs and sketches and then send them to the factory. After samples are done, there's a revision period where you might have to go back and forth with the factory a couple times, making a few different samples until it's perfect. This might take 3 to 4 weeks, but if the sample is perfect the first time, then you might not even need to do this. The next phase is mass production, where you place your bulk order. That typically takes 4 to 8 weeks. After that is the marketing and promotional prep phase, where the brand shoots product photography and videos for the website and marketing campaigns and begins teasing products on social media. I see a lot of brands do this marketing and promotional prep during the time when the mass production is happening. The only issue with combining these two phases is that you'll need to get a bunch of samples from the manufacturer in order to shoot your content. Sometimes manufacturers don't like that. They might want you to place the bulk order first so they can see that you are not going to just make a bunch of samples and then disappear, which ultimately is not what the manufacturer wants. The manufacturer wants to build a long-term relationship with you because that's how they make the most money. The next phase is shipping and delivery, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Make sure the products are at the warehouse or fulfillment center and ready to go. And then schedule all marketing activities, including email campaigns, social media posts, and influencer collabs to go live on the launch date. I'm going to make more videos about launching, marketing, emails, ads, and all that good stuff. But I think this is good for today's video. My name is Chris Drago. If you found this video helpful or valuable in any way, please press the like and subscribe buttons. It helps me out so much. If there's a topic that you'd like me to cover in the future, or if you have any questions about this video, please leave a comment and I'll see you in the next one.